Greetings, friend, and welcome to the Between the Covers podcast, where we are working every day to remove the self-limiting beliefs that are preventing us from becoming the heroes of our own stories. I am Marcus Spar, and just a quick reminder here, if you're enjoying this podcast, then I'd greatly appreciate a 5-star review on iTunes, on Spotify, or wherever it is that you are listening to this podcast. And if you're watching this or listening to on YouTube, then I'd greatly appreciate if you subscribe so you don't miss out on any future podcast episodes, and give the video a like and leave a comment. It's time for another hero study, and I was doing some thinking leading up to this of who I wanted to focus on for this particular episode. I've had a great time just interviewing my friends recently, and I do intend and look forward to doing some more interviews in the future. But this time, it's just me, and I wanted to talk about David Tennant, who is very much a hero in my eyes. I admittedly am late to the game in terms of Doctor Who, and I believe I've even mentioned maybe, if not, I don't know these days. I say a lot of things and I forget who I've said them to. But when Libby and I started watching Doctor Who, starting with the 9th Doctor, when they were, I guess, relaunching it, and apparently they're doing it again here. But I could not believe that it had taken me this long to get into Doctor Who. And we are currently on the 11th Doctor, I think. 10th or 11th at this point. And I have very much enjoyed these stories about just the crazy shenanigans that the Doctors continue to have and the adventures they go on and how much running they do in almost every single episode. And I have some very good friends that when I was sharing about these experiences and how much we've been loving this series, it naturally turned into some conversations of who we think the best Doctor is and who the best companion is. And one of the people that came up all the time was David Tennant. David Tennant is a favorite among my friends for his portrayal of the Doctor. And it's kind of interesting because whenever I think of the Doctor, I always think of Matt Smith, but that's because whenever we would get together with family during the winter break, during the holidays, I was often just in the living room as people are watching Christmas-themed episodes, and Doctor Who would come on quite often, and the one that I saw the most frequently was, I think it was The Snowmen, and it was one of the Christmas episodes that Matt Smith was the Doctor. And so a lot of people, I've been told by a lot of people, say that your favorite Doctor tends to be the first one that you see, and to a certain degree, Matt Smith was who I always pictured the Doctor as. Now, as we were watching through these DVDs, I really enjoyed David Tennant's portrayal of the Doctor. He was so good at portraying a character who was very lighthearted and excitable, but when things got serious, he would let you know, oh, this is not where you want to go, my friend. It was so fun watching him as he remembered his humanity, so to speak, especially with Rose when she was his companion. And I have a lot of respect for this person in David Tennant. Not just because of his portrayal of the Doctor in the Doctor Who series, But one of the things that Libby and I keep running into so often is seeing all of the people who have appearances in Doctor who also had appearances or roles in the Harry Potter movie series. And it was so interesting for us to see how in, which one is it? Order of the Phoenix? I think it's the Goblet of Fire. Yeah, the Goblet of Fire. When David Tennant is playing, I forget his first name, but he's a Crowley, and he's the son of an important figure at the Ministry of Magic, who's also, I guess I said he's his son. So there are these two Crowleys in this one movie. One of them is evil, and he is a part of the Death Eaters, and then one of them is working in the Ministry of Magic and just trying to do the best that he can to create a safe place for all of these witches and wizards. And then seeing much, much later in Doctor Who that, at least much, much later for myself, I don't know exactly when Doctor Who and Harry Potter and all this kind of took place, but it was very interesting seeing David Tennant as the Doctor, who is the good guy, and the actor who played as the older Crowley being the villain in a couple of episodes of Doctor Who. And it was just really funny for me, considering that I first was introduced to David Tennant, at least that I can recall, as Crowley, as a Death Eater, as essentially the one follower of Voldemort who did an impeccable job of trying to bring him back. And then seeing the flip side of that, where he is the protagonist, he is the hero, and still taking on one of the same people who portrayed his father in the Harry Potter movie. It was so interesting for me. One of the things, though, that I have come to respect David Tennant for so much is his allyship and support of individuals who identify as trans. And this is a real hot button issue here, especially in the US, but it's still even a big one in the UK as well. And he has a child who is LGBTQAI+. And he is 100% supportive of his child and the choices that they are making. And he takes that very personally in his advocacy for this people, this minority group, and a very much discriminated group as well. I have so much respect for someone who is not afraid to stand up for what he believes to be right, and is, I mean, him and I know J.K. Rowling are oftentimes not good friends in this arena, and I don't know how much David Tennant is actually trying to fire back at what J.K. Rowling keeps saying and posting on X or Twitter. And I know that he's not the best person, because we're not all the best person that we can be. But I do see him as being a hero. And I have absolutely experienced just a bit of a silo of what he has done in order to support and advocate for this group of people. And there's a lot about him I don't know. And there's likely some things that I could even say would be woof. That probably wasn't the best way to put that. And yet, that doesn't change that I have so much respect for him. I can honestly say that I have respect for an individual like J.K. Rowling as well, because of the world and the community that she created around her Harry Potter stories. It's just unfortunate that it didn't stay that way. And now I don't have as much respect for her. And the same thing could happen with an individual like David Tennant. But right now, and I'm hoping this doesn't change at all, he is such a stand-up guy to me. And he is an example of someone who I believe the world really needs. Someone who's unashamed to speak about his support for marginalized groups, for individuals who are close to him, such as his family. Seeing that he is unafraid to even wear articles of clothing or accessories that show his solidarity and support for trans rights and trans people. And this is something that I can definitely learn from as well. Libby and I went to our first gay rally here in southeastern Washington state. And we went with our friends John and Dan. It's the first time I've ever been to one of these, and I am trying my best to be a good advocate and a good ally for people like my friends John and Dan, but also for people I don't know. I even have my friend Kai Faith, who came on to talk about Taylor Swift, and I want to know how to support them as well. I want to know what I can do to love and affirm and support people who have stories that are very different from my own. And to honestly get out of my mind a lot of the conservative Christian bullshit that I grew up saying that these people are evil. Saying that people like John and Dan and like Kai and individuals like Colin Mockery's child and David Tennant's child and all of these people, even my friend Jenna from high school, all of these people who identify as someone other than just being straight and cisgendered, and that all of these people are evil or bad. I want to change that. I really do. And seeing how someone as prominent and powerful as J.K. Rowling, with her influence and her following, is someone that David Tennant is not afraid to speak out against, who's not afraid to be himself, who's not afraid to speak his mind. And maybe there are times where he doesn't do it as compassionately as he could, but who am I to judge? I have made terrible mistakes when talking with people who identify as something different from me. I wish that David Tennant is someone that I could bring onto this podcast in order to interview him and learn more about his story. I am guessing that there were definitely some interesting parts of his story that brought him to where he is today. And I would love to know what he has had to overcome. I would love to know what he views as a hero and heroic qualities. I guess to a certain degree, I mean, this is a small enough podcast that, oh man, trying to get someone of that caliber on here would be a miracle, to say the least. I am hoping that in the future I might be able to get someone like Matthew Mercer on for an interview, let alone someone like David Tennant. And so I can just do the best that I can with what I know, and seeing and understanding that he is someone who is not afraid to stand up to some powerful voices and continue to be an advocate and an ally and support people, many of them he doesn't even know. And then there are those that he does know personally and he loves and supports them. Oh, he is just the kind of guy that we need. He really is. He is the kind of person, the kind of hero that we need in society today. I may be very late to the game in his career and what he has done through his work as an actor. And even if I am late to it, I am so glad that I've been able to experience and fall in love with this individual who is a phenomenal actor. I have loved seeing him in pretty much everything I have seen him in. I haven't seen a whole lot yet. He is a real standout guy. He is a true ally, and he is someone that I really hope that I can become as well. I sincerely hope that as my life continues to evolve as I age, that instead of becoming so narrow-minded and focused on people's flaws, that instead I can look at the ways that people are being loving and compassionate to others, and that I can continue to grow in my love and compassion for all sorts of people in the world, even those who embody and represent the people that have really hurt me in the past. I want to be someone who's not afraid to stand up for what I find to be hurtful and harmful. I want to be able to stand up for what I find to be discrimination, whether we're talking about race, religion, whether we talk about creed, whether we talk about sexual identity. I want to be unafraid to speak up and speak out when I see these injustices. I definitely have a lot of learning in that area. When Libby and I went to the gay rally just this last June, I mean, I picked up an ally pin, and when we took a trip to Portland, I was wearing it very proudly. But back here in southeastern Washington, it's a different story. I have wanted to get an ally flag and fly it from our house. And that hasn't happened yet. And a big reason for that is because there's definitely fear of what our neighbors are going to think and what's going to happen in this place that is very conservative and not the most loving and affirming of people who don't believe in the conservative Christian story. So seeing someone like David Tennant, who is being an incredible example of what it is to be a stalwart ally, to be someone who isn't afraid to stand up to people who are in positions of power and authority. I was seeing how he wasn't afraid to speak out against politicians in the UK who were in one of the articles that I looked up, where it was talking about some of the criticism that David Tennant has received from J.K. Rowling over social media, that he was unafraid to call out individuals in Parliament and in the UK government, as there was, I think, some kind of law that people were trying to push forward that were going to make, how did they put it? It was going to be individuals who identify as the gender that they are born with it was going to be a protected status or something like that. And he wasn't afraid to call out some very powerful people in the UK about how stupid that is. And I will continue to hope for the best for him in the work that he's doing and the support that he is offering to so many different people. I can't say this enough. The model of person that he is showing is the kind of person that I would like to be. And that's one of the things that heroes can do. Heroes can exemplify the traits and the powers and the skills that we want to learn and we want to acquire. And that is absolutely something I have seen in the actions and the words of David Tennant. I hope that you have enjoyed this month's hero study, and we will see who's going to be in the next one. If you do have any ideas of individuals that we could interview or research for hero studies, then feel free to send them to me via email. The email address is questions.btcpod@gmail.com. And if you have just questions in general, feel free to leave comments, send them to that email. I would love to engage with you. And until next time, live strong for today.